Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead on Porch Time today. Guys, we're still in the triple digit. Now listen to what I'm saying. Heat index, not temperature, heat index. It was 87 a while ago. The heat index was 97. So I'm pretty sure we're going to make it into triple digits once again today for the heat indexes. We're still hoping and praying for rain, though. We can't do anything with our fields. Our grass is all dead now, most of it. We just got in 8 more bales of hay. We've got 3 more to go, and I think we will have enough to make it through the winter with our cows. If we don't get another cow, we actually have an opportunity, possibly in the very near future, to pick up another Dexter cow that's breeding age. So we're kind of hoping that that may happen. And if it does, we'll probably need to pick up a few more rolls of hay just to be safe. But guys, we're excited about that. Even in the midst of a drought like we're having here, we're still looking forward. We're still trying to be positive. We believe that it's going to rain. We believe that we're going to be able to get everything done. We trust in the Lord that everything's going to work out right. But today, I want to talk today about off-grid living. Now, I know we've done several videos about talking about the off-grid lifestyle. And guys, if the wind's blowing, it messes up, I hope it don't. I'm just happy it's blowing, okay? It's cooling it off some. Bear with me. But I want to talk about the off-grid lifestyle. Now, Wanda and I, as y'all know, we have a regular house on our property here, a nice home. But we've built this cabin that you see me sitting on the porch of right now. It's not finished, but it's off-grid. Now, those of you who are following us over on Patreon knows you have a pretty much up-to-date, or as close up to date as we can be. We still have several videos to put up to keep you up to date on Patreon. But, you know, it'll be months before you see what we see right here on YouTube, because everything's just backlogged. And guys, we are discovering a lot of things about living with no electricity. Now, as much as we enjoy it, and the peace and the solitude that it gives, it comes with many challenges. One being, we have no water over here. And y'all see us shooting these videos about our garden and how it's just powder, and we're getting all these comments about, well, you should be irrigating it, you should be doing this, or you should be doing that. Well, where the cabin's located at, we have no water source here. The cabin is just now today, which is porch time day. I just finished putting the eave drip underneath the metal on it, which means now when I come up with the money, which will be the next big issue, I can begin to put the rain gutters up. And then when I get them up, I'll have to wait till I can afford rain catchment barrels and stuff like that, and building the platform for them and stuff like that to sit on. I mean, it's all a process. Hopefully before next year, we will have that done here at the off-grid cabin. And that will be our water source for this time being, to water our crops with and stuff like that. We'll probably try to do some drip tape irrigation system, you know, around here with that. But it's a challenge when you're doing an off-grid living style. It's not like we can just run in there and turn a faucet on. We don't even have a kitchen yet. It's just walls. It is insulated. It is sealed on the inside with insulation, and the outside's working on being sealed. But we don't have the luxury of pumping water by hand. We don't have the luxury of turning a faucet on. We don't have these luxuries. Now, that's a challenge when you're used to living this lifestyle like we've been living. And that's why we are actively trying to live this way, is so that in the future, should some sort of event happen, some sort of a life-changing event take place, my home that I live in is not equipped or set up to be without electricity. Hurricane Katrina taught me that lesson. The floors buckled in it and everything from the humidity here. It was so hot in that house you couldn't even stay in it. I had to sleep in a tent on the porch. So, because they're sealed that tight, those type homes, and they all have sheetrock in them and all that kind of stuff. Well, the cabin's not going to have any sheetrock in it. It's just all going to strictly be woods. And I'm going to get comfortable, guys. I'm going to pick my leg up here, prop up a little bit. And, you know, the thing about this lifestyle is, it's not what we're used to. Now, our forefathers lived like this and thought nothing of it, because it's all they knew. As many of y'all who've watched me on some of my videos know, that as I've told you about my childhood growing up on some of my past videos, when I was a kid, we did not have electricity in our first home. We didn't have a refrigerator. Our refrigerator, I told y'all, was a big metal garbage can with a block of dry ice in it. That was our refrigerator. And before that was a block of ice wrapped in a quilt, put in a fireplace in the summertime. The house back then used to get so cold, like I've told y'all, Mama would take the eggs off the counter when Daddy bought her a refrigerator to put in the house. We didn't have electricity in the old house, but when Daddy built the new house for Mama, and we had electricity, Mama would take the eggs off of the counter and put them in the refrigerator to keep them from freezing on the counter during the winter months. That's how cold the houses got on the inside. We had a toilet in the old house and a septic tank, but my daddy always brought home water from town, and there was always a 5-gallon bucket full of water sitting beside the toilet that was in the house, so that when you got through using it, you poured water in the toilet to flush it. Now, my dad picked up an old deep freeze. I'm talking about a big one. That thing was like 6 feet long. It was huge. And he took the lid off of it and he put it under the eave of the house. And the water would pour off of the eave of the house into it, and when it rained and when it got full, that's where Daddy would take the bucket and he would dip it in it, and he would take that water and bring it in for the toilet to flush the toilet with. Now, there was lots of things like this that happened when I was a kid. And as I begin to live this lifestyle again, those things start coming back to me. And I remember things that we done. Now, we didn't have the modern conveniences back then of guttering and rain barrels and faucets on them and stuff like that. We didn't have all that stuff. We just had the old deep freeze sitting beside the house there, and the water filled it up. And the funny thing about it was, my daddy put like 3 or 4 sun perch in it to keep the mosquito larvae down in it, because mosquitoes would try to get in it and lay eggs, and then you see the little wigglers all the way in it. And my daddy he fished a lot, and when he'd catch these little small sun perch, he put 3 or 4 of them in there, and they literally lived in that thing and kept the mosquito larvae eat out of it. And the funny thing about it is, it never did get green with algae and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if the fish being in it had something to do that, but my dad probably knew something that I don't know. But those were the things that we done then. We didn't have any solar. There was no such thing as far as I know. Everything was done with a coal oil lantern, and during the day, the windows in the house were placed strategically so that when the sun came up, the whole house was lit up on the inside and you didn't have to have any lights on the inside. The only time you needed a light was literally early morning hours when my daddy would get up to go to work. My mama would get up and fix his lunch for him. Now, my dad didn't eat breakfast. He just got a cup of coffee. Mama would, on the wood heater, would make coffee. Didn't matter what time of the year it was. Mama would make coffee on the wood heater for my daddy. And on the weekends, she always made biscuits. And you know, looking back, I'm pretty sure it got hot back then, but it didn't get as hot as it is now, because I know my dad's and I have talked about that. The weather back in the early 60s was different than it is now. It was a lot cooler back then than it was now. Even though the summers were hot, like summers typically are down here, there wasn't these 100 and something days like we are in now of triple-digit heat indexes. It was always, it would rain, and in the evening time before the sun went down, the clouds would go away and the sun would pop out on the horizon, and us kids could get out and play. And it doesn't do that anymore. Everything now, when it happens, is severe weather, and it lasts on up into the night usually. But the challenges that Wanda and I are running into with the off-grid living are growing all the time. We spend the night over here several times, or every so often, however you want to put it. And usually the temperature, like, it'll be in the triple digits. It'll be anywhere from 100 and the heat index will be anywhere from 105 to 122 usually. And we'll wait till late afternoon to come over here, and we have a little 150 watt generator. It's a portable one that we charge over at our house. And we have a little small whisper quiet fan that we'll put right by our bed that blows right across us on the bed while we're there. The only problem is it only runs about 5 hours, and then it runs out of electricity and the fan goes dead. But usually if we can make it from, say, we don't turn the fan on, we could wait late to come over, and we don't turn the fan on until like 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, then it'll usually make it up into the wee morning hours with the window open. Usually the cabin will cool off enough that we can handle it. It'll be like 70, I think it stays around 73 in there, 74, something like that. And we can usually handle that temperature as long as we're not being active and working. It's a comfortable temperature just to lay in the bed with and sleep. As long as the humidity is not 90-something%, let's put it that way. Now, when the humidity goes up to 90-something% and you've got, even though the temperature is 74 degrees inside, it's very uncomfortable. And plus, the mattresses and the sheets and the stuff get damp from the humidity coming in the windows. We're learning all these living off the grid lifestyle situations that we, as kids, I didn't think anything about this. Now, as a child, our houses didn't have any sheetrock in them. They were all lumber. And that, I still remember, I'm sitting here, as I reminisce going back, I still remember the water on the walls inside. I can touch the walls, they were damp with moisture on the inside as a kid. And I know it was from the humidity coming in the house and the walls sweating on the inside. And I remember that stuff. I remember Mama's plates and dishes being damp. I remember the linoleum that Daddy had put in the kitchen for Mama. He'd always tell us, you be careful walking on that, you don't slip down, because it would always have moisture on it in the house. That's something that Wanda and I are trying to prevent here at the cabin. We're trying to learn which windows to open, which ones to stay closed, because the one in our bedroom faces the east. And when the sun comes up in the morning, we were noticing that bedroom of ours, boy, it would get to be scorching hot in just a few hours in the morning, and then it stayed hot all day because it's insulated. So finally we decided to go get some blackout curtains and put up, because we don't really like curtains, but we figured we was going to have the blackouts, and we put them up, and we closed that window down in the morning hours when the sun is hitting it, until the sun gets up to a certain point when it's not hitting that window anymore. Then we open the curtains up and open the window up, and we've learned by doing that that bedroom stays a decent temperature now. So guys, this off-grid lifestyle is not something that you just jump into and it's comfortable. You have to learn in this kind of climate. There are challenges. Now, I'm sure up north you have the challenges of being able to stay warm enough. Down here, we're just trying to stay cool enough. Now, we're working on trying to figure out, once the cool weather does come, how we're going to keep the heat throughout the whole cabin. We're curious enough now that we've got it insulated. Is building a fire in the fireplace going to be enough? The heat from that and the way that it heats the living room up, because I know in the summer, this past spring when we built a fire, man, it warmed that whole room up in there, and boy, we were opening doors pretty soon. But we're curious in the winter months when it actually gets cold and it'll stay cold, is the fireplace going to heat the cabin enough, even into the bedroom in the back here, and the bathroom downstairs? Is it going to heat that enough that we're not going to have some sort of alternative heat source? Now, we do have a heater air conditioner that rolls around on wheels, and an vent goes out our window. There's a pipe that goes out the window. We've got one of those. We did a review on many months ago. We've not tried that on the heat. We've tried it on the AC side, because there's been a few nights we stayed over here that the humidity just got to be too bad. And I have this generator hooked up where I can hook it up with the generator, and we crank the generator up and turn the AC on in the room. Now, it only cools it down to about 74, 75 degrees in there because it's not finished. But that's comfortable enough to get us by. And once we got the room cool, we can usually come out and switch the generator off, and it'll stay cool till the morning. So we have to get up anyway. So we do have that. Now, there's lots of other challenges here that we're facing. We've got our clawfoot tub. Y'all have seen our videos on the clawfoot tub. I'm in the process now of actually refinishing that whole tub, getting it ready to go into the bathroom, but we still have to put the cement board on the floor. We still have to put all the tile down. We still have to put the stuff on the walls, whatever we decide, whatever wood or tile or whatever we decide to go on the walls. And then after we get that done, we still face the challenge of where's the water coming from that's going to go in it, because we don't have a water source here. So we're trying to decide if we are able to afford the rain catchment barrels before next spring. Do I want to put some sort of a filtering system and a diverter valve to where I can take the water from the rain barrels and run into the bathtub to take a bath in, and maybe heat some water at the fireplace to put in there to maybe heat it to a temperature where it's comfortable enough? Or do I want to try and start saving money for a tankless hot water heater to go on the outside of the wall of the bathroom and on the outside of the house, and get me say a 100-pound propane bottle and sit out there and just use that propane bottle to heat water, so that if we run water into the tub from the rain barrel, have the rain barrel go into that and then into the tub, that when we turn the water on, will there be enough pressure from the rain barrel to actually activate all that? Or will we have to wait till we get a well put in and can afford a solar system to be able to have running water over here? Which, we're facing all these things on living off grid. We have no way over here to wash dishes. We have no way over here to wash linen or anything like that. So at this point, we're having to take everything from here back to the house to wash it over at the house. The dishes, it doesn't matter, all of it has to be taken back to be washed. Because we don't have any countertops, we don't have any sinks, we don't have anything like that over here. Because we're just not that far along. But as we build, we are taking the time to watch a lot of YouTube videos of people who do live off-grid and who actually show their life living off-grid and don't just talk about it, to learn what they are doing on their homestead. Now, I do have a off-grid, I have a stove outside my house here at the cabin that I built to actually do our cooking with over here. We're able to actually cook over here now. And that has been a really big blessing for us. Before I was having to cook on the fireplace, but now I can cook on this gas stove that sits outside out here. And it's been really nice to be able to do that. But even at that, when I cook breakfast, I'm facing all kinds of challenges because I'm so used to cooking breakfast over at my house where everything is convenient. It's right there. I flip a light switch on, I can see. And guys, when I come out here, I cook at 5. I usually cook my breakfast and Wanda's breakfast around 5 to 5:30 in the morning. It's dark. I've had to purchase an LED rechargeable light system to put on the wall out here so that when I'm cooking breakfast in the dark in the morning, I can actually see the stove, I can see what's on the stove, and we have to bring stuff in an ice chest because we wanted an ice box. We just can't find an ice box that's feasible for what we want and the look in the cabin. So we're looking on eBay, we're looking in lots of different places, we just can't find an ice box. And I'm coming to a point I'm almost willing to just build one and see if I can make it happen. So that's another challenge that we're facing here, living the off-grid lifestyle in the deep south. Now, those of you who live up north, I watched some of the ones videos up north, and they don't seem to have all the challenges that we have down here with the heat. Most of them can just leave the windows open at night. The night temperature is cooled off enough. They don't have to worry about any source of fans or anything like that. They're able to just live comfortably during the summer months. But the winter months is where their challenges is at, where we're just the opposite. The problem is down here in the deep south, I don't have any YouTube channels that are off-grid down here that actually show what they're doing that I'm aware of. Now, they may be out there. I'm just not aware of them. And if you guys watch them and they are off-grid and they're in the deep south, now I'm talking about anything. Now, a lot of y'all think Arkansas and Tennessee is the south and Virginia. That's not south to us. To us, that's extreme north. We're talking about Florida, southern Alabama, southern Mississippi, Louisiana, southern Texas. You know, that's the south to us. Even in Mississippi, we call it North Mississippi. I mean, I lived in north central Mississippi, and guys, the temperature there is 100% different than it is here. You know, when I lived up there, it snowed quite often. They had ice storms all the time in the winter months. When it turned cold, it stayed cold. It's nothing like what it is here. So the temperature changes that much just in the state of Mississippi, going from top to bottom. So if any of y'all have any off-grid channels that you watch in the deep south that actually show what they're doing, show their water systems, what they do about how they catch water, how their bathrooms function, how they function with their kitchens, you know, all these things, I am definitely interested in watching or finding some of those channels. I mean, because when I Google the off-grid lifestyle, all I come up with is the same ones every time. I try to go into different algorithms, and I'm still not following or finding anything that's what I'm truly looking for. We're hoping when we do ours to be able to show each and every step of what we do here in this off-grid lifestyle in the deep south and making it work and trying to show people how to make it work down here. And guys, we're no expert at this because we're new at this. But we're still trying, and we're hoping to get it figured out because, believe it or not, with its challenges, Wanda and I sleep very sound here. You would be surprised how many noises is in your house at night from things like refrigerators running, deep freezes running, different things, air conditioning units, and all this kind of stuff humming, and all these humming noises and stuff like that. When Wanda and I are over at the cabin and the neighbors aren't acting up and creating chaos, and we can leave our windows up at night, it's very quiet. All you hear is the crickets and the frogs and stuff like that. And guys, we fall right asleep. And we sleep good. Because it's the way God intended for us to sleep. Without all this chaos going on around us. So, stay with us on this journey, guys. If you're not subscribed to us, subscribe to us. Hit the notification button. When we put these videos up about our living off-grid in the Deep South and facing the challenges that we face down here, if maybe you're wanting to do the same thing, then what we learn may help you. Or if you're ahead of us, maybe you can tell us what you're doing and make life a little simpler for us so that we don't have to struggle. Because that's what this community is all about. It's about helping one another figure out how to live in the new world that we have now. So guys, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to, I got to get back busy. I got several things I got to get accomplished today. But I am glad that you stopped in and that you sit here on the porch with us today and that you took time to talk with us and listen to us. And I hope that in my comments down below, I'm going to find a lot of good suggestions about channels that I'm just not aware of that's off-grid. I'm really, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that some of y'all can do that for me because I don't have a lot of time like it is, but what time I do have, I'm just not finding a lot of them. Now, JC from Boss in the Swamp, I watch him religiously. I'm a subscriber of his on Patreon and stuff. I love what he's doing up there. And he's just a great, super guy. Him and Lori are just great people. But he doesn't face what I face here. Now, I learn a lot from him. But his lifestyle is totally different than mine here. Even though we both live the same lifestyle in a lot of ways, his challenges as far as the weather is concerned is way different than ours. So, I am looking, like I said, for something down in the Deep South. So, you know, I know Doug and Stacy have the off-grid cabin and all that, but they're in Missouri. Their weather is completely different than ours. We have people come from up there down here and visit with us and go, oh my God, how in the world do y'all live down here? You know, they go, it's hot where we come from. It's in the 90s up here, but my gosh, at least we can breathe. And I'm like, I'll try to tell you. I said, it's a different climate down here. And guys, you know, so please, if you know of a channel, put it in the description down below. Or if you're living this lifestyle and you have some suggestions, put it in the comments down below so that we can glean from one another. And actually, y'all can help me and Wanda out a little bit. So guys, I've been on here long enough. I'm going to get off. I got to go get busy while the wind's blowing. It's a little bit cloudy right now. And see if I can get a few things accomplished. So guys, once again, thank you so much for spending the morning with me and talking with me about living the off-grid lifestyle. Thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.